Go Jackets.
What's going on, everyone, and welcome to WreckTalk. So this actually came as a suggestion from someone in the Discord, and it's interesting they brought it up because it's something I've been thinking about doing anyway. I don't know how many of y'all watch Coach and Crew Show and Tantor, but he does a lot of stuff on Georgia Tech, and Tantor's got no chill when it comes to Georgia Tech. He's a huge fan, but he's a super realist. So he's kind of on the other end where I think we have like a good spectrum. Like you have Sea Dog, and then I'm kind of in the middle of him and Tantor probably. But I love what he does. There's going to be a link for his channel in the description of the video. Definitely go sub up Coach and Crew Show and show Tantor some love. But I'm going to react to it today. Now, later on in the week, we're going to have Macho Wreck video and a breakdown slash preview of Ole Miss. So that's all coming, not to worry. And then I'll kind of like do videos on my way to Mississippi and all that. Me and Papa Wreck. I'm sure he'll be filming. So let's go on over here. This is my boy Tantor. I made sure to pause it when he looked the best. So see what old Tantor has to say about the South Carolina State game. And tell me how different it sounds from my assessment.
Recap of Georgia Tech's 48-13 victory over South Carolina State. All right, we're going to have to preference this with South Carolina State's a really bad football championship series team. Okay, so they're not even competitive in that.
All right, already not a lot of positive. Let's go.
We should have done whatever we wanted to, whenever we wanted to there. And we didn't do that. That didn't happen at all today. Started out bad because we had a 2+ hour delay for weather. So it ended up
that was insane, by the way. It was a 2.5 hour delay. And there, go on Twitter. There's people that posted, like in the north end zone, there was like a waterfall coming down. People were like students were under it, dancing, going crazy. And then people got so bored, they just started running onto the field. At first, the security people were like not that interested and were like pretty chill. But once like the third person hit the field during the delay, that was like a student or a fan, one guy was like, my time to shine. It must have been his first day as a security guard. And the guy tried to jump back into the stands, and that guy caught him. And like on the way out, he was like, "Yes, I got him. I'm awesome. I did what I was supposed to." So yeah, it was interesting. And Tantor was there too, so I mean, he had to have seen that, unless he just went under the stands. I don't know.
that the game was played in front of Tantor and a couple of hundred of his friends. It was a very sparse crowd.
I disagree with that. It wasn't any more sparse than before the delay, so I don't really know where he gets that. Or that's kind of was my feeling of it.
But it meant that we all had great seats, okay? So we just make lemonade out of lemons there. All right, we'll start with things that I liked. Georgia Tech's offense is just fine this year. Got some athletes. We've got Cooley and Haynes starting at running back.
I need to do this, by the way. This is pretty good video he caught from the game, and it doesn't get you copyright claimed. So the only thing with doing this is then, like, it's harder for me to enjoy the game because, like, obviously I don't know when a big play is going to happen. So I would have to, like, kind of constantly be recording. But, yeah, our offense did look good. Glad to see. Well, you know, I say that it didn't look any. This crowd is pretty bad. Yeah. But in my defense, I mean, this is the student section on the south end zone, which is not like the north end zone student section is the one that's always well attended, and this is the South Carolina State where they would sit. I don't even think they brought their band. And by the way, they had a crane bring in this Hyundai here when I was at the I keep wanting to say Louisville game. There was a lady that worked with the Thorpe Fund telling me that they were dropping these Hyundais, and there's another one over here off screen you can't see.
And they are exceptional. They had great games. The offensive line looked serviceable and did a good job against overmatched opponent.
By the way, this is one of the 2 bad throws that Haynes King had. I mean, they're in cover 2.
And did a good job against
if anything, he should have thrown the ball right here. He almost threw a pick.
Overmatched opponent. Tight ends blocked well. Didn't catch any passes, but they blocked well. Wide receivers.
We had a tight end. Brett Seether caught a touchdown pass. So, got to be careful. You're going to have people chirping at you, Tantor.
Caught just about everything in their hands. Rutherford is fantastic. But Singleton, freshman Singleton, has got some serious speed, and he had a nice touchdown catch today, and was basically open all game long. He's going to be fantastic this season. If they just give him the ball, he can do it. So the offense, they're going to score whenever they want to score. So that's a good thing.
Yeah, I totally agree. By the way, I need to actually go look that Brett Seether scored a touchdown because I feel like I might be wrong about that. now that I think about it, let me see. Georgia Tech, or let's just go to ESPN and get the box score.
And that's what we need. Haynes King needs a little work. He's pretty accurate, but he holds the ball too long. And that's what I'm
going to be honest with you. He talks about Haynes King holding the ball too long. I don't really know where that's coming from, though. Like, Haynes King got the ball out pretty quick and made pretty quick decisions. So that would be one thing I disagree with Tantor on. I don't really know where he's getting. We just held the ball way too long.
Noticed that if I'm going to nitpick his game, his throws are late, about a second late. So he's.
By the way, that's a second late is like massively late. Like that's the difference in like touchdown and an interception. So, I didn't feel like he threw the ball late. I mean, he threw it early on the Singleton. I mean, when he threw that touchdown to Singleton, he wasn't even open. He threw him open. So. Were there like maybe 1 or 2 passes that weren't absolutely perfect? Maybe, and he does agree he's being kind of nitpicky here, but I mean, Haynes King threw for 290 yards, 4 touchdowns. He had a pretty good day.
He's got to throw his receivers open. He's got to throw them before they make their cuts and make their breaks. A good defensive team is going to cause them some problems, okay? But it's something that can be fixed because it's a timing issue, and he can fix his timing issue. There are numerous things that I don't like on this team.
Well, let's hear it.
Hey, Jamie. What am I up?
Special teams, we'll start with what I did like was punt return was fantastic. The punt team was great because they didn't punt. Sitting there watching warm-ups and everything else, and they have not made any adjustments in Shanahan at all, and hopefully Coach will edit in the warm-ups for Shanahan where he's taken 5 and 6 steps, and it's just any team that takes special teams seriously will block his punts.
I actually agree with him here. Shanahan and the punt team is, I think, much improved over last year. But Shanahan takes way, way, way too long to get the ball to get the punt off. He does take like too many steps, it seems like, and it's like our buttholes are just puckered up every punt, and that needs to change. I feel like that would be something that you could coach out and be like, hey man, we need to work on getting the punt off quicker, because I do think Tantor is right. We will get a punt block this year. If we continue to take that long to get the punt off.
And there's no doubt about it. So that's horrible, and it's going to be horrible. We blocked an extra point today. which was great. We got penetration up front and blocked the extra point. That was awesome. All right. What I didn't like in special teams, we missed it.
By the way, I was right. Tantor, what are you doing? Brett Seether caught a touchdown pass. It's right here. Right here. He had one reception for 8 yards, and it was a touchdown.
Another field goal. So that was 3 straight with Stewart on field goals. Coach Key, he went to the backup kicker, who nailed a nice field goal at the end of the game. So, maybe we could look for some changes on the place kicking unit to get us out of the funk that we are in.
Yeah, I said that too.
I didn't like any.
I don't know kind of what's going on with the place kicking, but whatever we need to do to not miss field goals, I'm all for it.
Anything about the defense today?
He doesn't like anything about the defense. Man.
The starting defense, more preference.
They're out there the whole time, so.
It's that too. All right, the starting defense was horrible, and I can't say anything good about it. Defensive line played high.
Did they play great? No. Okay. And this is probably just where Tantor and I will disagree. And Tantor, might know more about football than me. I love Tantor. But to say you don't, there's nothing. I mean, we held them under 300 yards. But as he is going to lay out, there are some problems with that. They were able to gash us on the ground. That I will 100% concede.
Standing up a lot. South Carolina State ran the ball at will today. They were picking up 4 and 5 yards a carry.
More so in the second half, yeah. The game started off with an interception. I would imagine that's something good that happened. We got 2 turnovers off of them. They didn't run it at will in the first half. It definitely felt that way in the second half, though.
On the starters, their starters versus our starters, they moved the ball. Okay, if they wouldn't have had a couple turnovers deep in their own territory, things could have been different. They never.
What does he mean by things could have been different? Like the game, you saying they would have won? I don't think he's saying that, but I mean, did that not have anything to do with our defensive play? Like we stripped the ball out, we picked the ball off. Like those are plays we're making on defense.
Right, would have won the game, but the score would have been different.
Okay, he answered it.
Nothing good happened on defense, okay? We didn't fix any of our issues. We still have a cornerback playing 15 yards off the ball and can't tackle. So we saw defensive backs not tackling. We still saw a cornerback on the wide side of the field playing back 15 yards. If it's 3rd and 13, why are you 15 yards off the ball? No idea. So
I would think so you could step in front. I don't necessarily know that that's a massive issue. Yeah, that way if they're going to throw, a 14-yard out or right at a 13-yard out, you can get downhill on it. That would be my take on it.
So I put that on coaching. You got a kid that can't tackle, and he's playing 15 yards off the ball on a 3rd and 13, which allows the receiver to do a 13-yard out, catches the pass, easy completion, easy.
Right. Here's the thing, though. You start playing in front of it, and then they throw it over the top of you, though. So, I don't know.
First down. All right? That's coaching. You get that kid out of the game. If you coached him to do that, then you did something wrong. Get the kid out of the game. Let him have a seat on the bench. Okay? You've got safeties and slot receivers not communicating, slot corners not communicating, so that slot receivers are turning them around and having easy slants. Again, a good quarterback and a good wide receiver or a good tight end is going to eat them alive. And then
I think that's possible. That is a worry I have for playing Ole Miss. And if you watched the Georgia Tech live show last week, that was a concern for all of us. If we're not able to get pressure on Jackson Dart, it's going to be a long day. And it does seem like our secondary is taking a step back and just our defense in general. Now, I think he's going to end up concluding there's no reason to think or basically this is just going to continue. And I have no reason to think it's going to get better on defense. Like I don't have any evidence to support that, but I do think we're going to get better on defense.
When a guy does catch the ball, you got to make the tackle. We didn't see that either. All right, the starting linebacker.
Well, they didn't miss every tackle. I mean, from what I remember, there weren't necessarily a ton of them. I mean, we did have some missed tackles. We have to get better. Anyway,
are Fs. All right, and F is in failure. Both of them.
He's saying our linebackers.
They need to find a place on the bench. They didn't make tackles all day long. South Carolina State runs an option. The defensive end would take his man, take the quarterback. Quarterback would pitch it to a running back who would cut in the gap that a linebacker should be in. The starting two linebackers were not in those gaps. Easily blocked, did not flow well to the ball.
Now this is the one thing he says that I probably disagree with the strongest, that we just need to put our linebackers on the bench. I mean, I don't get that. I didn't think Trinelius Tatum played awful. I think both of those linebackers would say, yeah, to his point, they should have flowed to the ball better. But here's the thing. When you play an option team like South Carolina State, like they're going to get some yards on you, man. Like you're not just going to stuff every play in the backfield. Now, were they able to run their offense way better than they should have been able to, given the talent differential? Yes. But to have like the takeaway that we should just bench both our linebackers, I don't. That seems pretty overreactive. Like I said, I thought Tatum played well, and I think he is going to talk about Oliver coming in. Oliver looked really, really good, and it wouldn't surprise me if he's starting against Ole Miss.
They don't play their assignments, and they don't play hard, and then they can't tackle when.
That I don't get either. That they don't play hard. Like you can say that they missed their assignment, and they did a lot of the time. That we got caught out of position. I don't necessarily get questioning basically their will or kind of work ethic.
When they do get there, they're both small and undersized, and they got run over. 7, I wish not use names, we'll use numbers. 7 got ran over by the quarterback. Quarterback was over his shoulder and just ran right over 7. I would play him, but I would have him as a box safety. He is not a linebacker. He's not a D1 linebacker. Sorry.
Who is 7? Is that
13?
Mola?
Can't play. Period. Why he's starting, no idea. The good thing is that we got to see a lot of guys rotating through, and we have.
So he said 7 and 13. Let's see who that is. Trinelius Tatum. By the way, Trinelius Tatum 6'2", 208. Maybe a tad bit undersized. 13's Mola, I believe. Yeah, Mola is more of a hybrid, like defensive back linebacker guy. Did he say that Tatum played awful? I don't necessarily get that.
Guys rotating through, and we have 4, we have 3, and we have 44 at linebacker. That all 3 of those guys can start. They're vastly superior to 7 and 13, easily. They made plays, filled gaps. They played in the backfield of South Carolina State, and then when South Carolina State started putting in backups, they really destroyed them. So we have linebackers on this team, which we didn't know last week. We didn't know if they had them. They do. There are 3 guys that played today that can play linebacker that could start for this team. The coaches just aren't starting them. And that's on coaching. That's 100% on coaching. When you have 2 guys starting a linebacker that can't play, it shouldn't be.
Yeah, but do you think that, like you don't know how they're going to play in a game. Like, do you think that they're just like, hey, we don't want to start the most talented player that gives us the best chance to win? No, it might just be that, like, Kyle Effort, that's who's talking about, 44. Braylon Oliver, I forget his number here. Let me flip position here. Number's Braylon Oliver. Braylon Oliver is 4. Might just be that you found out they play better in the game. Some people can't translate what they are able to show at practice to the game, so I'm sure that will now that we have that information, like you'll probably see Bro and Oliver start. You might see Effort start. I don't know. I doubt that Trinelius Tatum is going to be not starting though.
Be starting. That's on coaching. And when we play teams that run, they can't play the pass, they can't rush the quarterback, they can't do anything. So the defense isn't going to start. So let's see, our defensive backs play off too far still, can't make tackles. That's bad. Linebackers can't play tackles, can't play assignment football, can't fill a gap and get run over by the opposing ball carrier. That's not good. And when your defensive line basically plays high and stands up, now they're making some tackles, but they're making...
Now, Key actually echoed that too. Key said in the post-game press conference they were playing a little bit high, so I 100% agree with that. And I would say that, if we're going to win Saturday, we've got to play we got to play a lot better on the defensive front.
Them 4 and 5 yards down the field, they are flowing and they are hustling. But when they're not getting penetration and they're not making things happen, and they never sacked the quarterback one time today, it's not a good combination. This defense is not a good combination. We're going to give up yards and points this season.
He's probably right.
I hate to say it, this is going to be a tough season to watch. It's going to be like one of Paul Johnson's where we'll score 48 points, but the other team scores 49.
Depends on what you mean by a tough season to watch. It's not going to be as tough as the previous 4 or 5. I can tell you that.
That's what we're looking at this year. We're looking at a season where we put up a lot of points, but so does the other team. Until the coaching comes around, and I guess I'm going to be the one guy complaining about how poor coaching is, because there are backups on this squad that can play. They need to be playing over your juniors and seniors that are not making plays.
Well, they did play today, though, right? Or they did play Saturday. I mean, and like I said, I mean, do you think that he's talking about linebackers? So Kevin Scher and Andrew Thacker just said, man, these guys are better, but we're not going to start them. It's from everything I know about Brent Key, that's not how he operates, where it's just like, oh, you're an upperclassman, you're going to start.
Okay, so right now we're gloom and doom. Even though we won big, I'm not pleased at all with the defense. There are problems there. There are huge problems there, and I'm expecting Ole Miss to exploit all of these problems. Watch the game film. Right. Make some changes on this team. Please, for the love of God, coaching staff, make some changes on this defense. Tantor out.
So that's Tantor, guys. And look, even though I did disagree with a few things he said, like I think Tantor's great. Like I said, go subscribe to Tantor. He does a lot of cool stuff. And if you're one of those weirdos that like soccer, they do a lot of soccer stuff on their channel too, with like Atlanta United and whatnot. Though I'm not as fatalistic about our defense as Tantor, he's right about a lot of that. And if we don't make changes and we don't play a lot better, Ole Miss will they'll have 600 yards of offense against us. Now, that being said, I do think Louisville has a pretty good offense. I said they had pretty good speed. And at times we did play them well. At times we did get pressure on Jack Plummer. So we've seen kind of spurts of the defense. We just haven't been able to round up the consistency. So hopefully we can kind of round all that up and get a win in Oxford. Tell me what you guys think. Tantor, if you're watching this, I don't know if you will. I love you, buddy. Hopefully you sit. I'm in section 106. I think you sit. Maybe 2 or 3 sections, I guess, south of me. So hope to see you at a game. Y'all have a good one. And how about this? WreckTalk out.